President Bola Tinubu has accepted the resignation of Professor Mahmood Yakubu as chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, following the expiration of his second term in office. Professor Yakubu was first appointed in November 2015 as the 14th chairman of the commission for an initial term of 5 years. President Tinubu thanked Professor Yakubu for his services to the nation and his efforts to sustain Nigeria's democracy, particularly through the organization of free and fair elections throughout his two-term tenure. Earlier today, Professor Yakubu handed over to May Agbamuchembo as acting chairman of the commission. Mrs. Agbamuchembo is the oldest serving national commissioner in the electoral body and currently heads the commission's Legal Services, Clearance and Complaints Committee. Now, Amsfree Ajanoko, who is Executive Director, Grassroots Center for Rights and Civic Orientation, joins me on the news at 7 for more on this resignation of Professor Yakubu. Good to have you join us at this time. Professor Yakubu is due for retirement in November, but has now handed over in October. Is there any cause for controversy?
I don't think there should be any cause for controversy because it's already time up. He has paid his dues. He has served his term. And probably this is just an exit strategy to allow for an early replacement in the commission, knowing that we have very crucial elections, off-cycle elections coming in Anambra and also in 2026 before we pivot to the 2027 general election. So I think this is very statesmanly, if you ask me, because at least it will enable the commission to have more of an exit strategy even before the end of his tenure. So I think it shouldn't be something that should elicit any controversy.
Now, statute-wise, INEC is independent, and the choice of the next national chairman will be determined by the president and approved by the Senate. What are your expectations?
Yeah, the expectations I have, just like the expectations of every other Nigerian, is that the president and the Senate, all the relevant institutions of the state, would ensure that the appointment of the next INEC chairman, sits in line with what we have in Section 153 of the Constitution, which basically, if you look at the third schedule, talks about somebody that is non-partisan and of impeccable integrity, somebody that will come in and build on the gains, because whether we like it or not, Mahmood did a whole lot of work in terms of trying to use technology to enhance transparency in our elections. And it is only an irony that one of the issues that he will be remembered for is the glitches that followed our use of technology in the elections. So we need somebody who will come in, hit the ground running, ensure that the electoral process become a process that allows Nigerian citizens to express their free and democratic choices. And the process, whether you talk about governorship elections, you talk about presidential elections, the general elections in 2027, is transparent and reflects the express democratic wishes of the Nigerian people.
And talking about trust in the electoral umpire, what do you think should be done to boost that trust and help people really have confidence in INEC?
I think the very first thing that should be done, and this is what many Nigerians are clamoring for, is to depoliticize INEC in terms of the question of appointment. And so many Nigerians are apparently not comfortable with the idea that a sitting president who is also a participant, who is also partisan in a sense in the electoral process, who will be contesting, will be the one to appoint the INEC chairman. Long before now, the Waste recommendation, the Waste panel report has given a roadmap on how we can possibly depoliticize INEC, remove it from the apron strings of the presidency, and ensure that it becomes truly independent, not only in name, but in terms of the appointive character of how the INEC chairman emerges. And this is very critical. The second point is within INEC itself, the fact that in the last elections, 2023 elections, there are perceptions that INEC kind of overpromised in terms of the transparency of the elections, and it under-delivered on that key aspect of transparency. And by this, I'm talking about the famous conversation around the glitches that followed the process in 2023. So INEC itself should be able to now pivot towards ensuring that when it makes promises to the Nigerian electorate, then it should be able to deliver on those promises, because every promise an institution like INEC makes comes with a lot of expectations. And the moment the people feel that those expectations are not met, then you have a lot of these perception problems. But I will still give some credit to the outgone INEC chair, because he presided over an electoral process that produced one of the most diverse National Assembly we have seen in the history of our country since the return of democracy in 1999. So it's not all bad, when we look at the way and how he served. But what will remain uppermost in the minds of Nigerians is that famous glitch in the 2023 election, which till today has not been convincingly explained to the Nigerian people in terms of what actually happened and how what happened can be prevented in subsequent general elections. Executive Director, Grassroots Center for Rights and Civic Orientation, GRACO, Amsfree Ajanaku. Thank you for your time on TVC News at 7. Thank you so much for having me.